Original drummer of the Yardbirds, Jim McCarty says he hasn't spoken to Eric Clapton in how many years? I'm John Beaudin. This is Rock History Music. Breath of the Wind is a brand new single from Jim McCarty. It's about his departed wife, Lizzie. And he also recently released a book about his spiritual experiences of trying to communicate with his wife called She Walks in Beauty. Links to both in the description. There is something that happens when you break up with band members. Kind of like wives and husbands, sometimes you're not expected to see them again. But it's been a long time since Jim McCarty, who's still with the Yardbirds, he's the only original member of that band, still going. Sometimes, well, you kind of lose touch. Jim McCarty on Eric Clapton.
When we talked last time, you were talking about Eric. We got interesting reactions because Eric is his own guy. Eric, yes. He's in his own lane, that man. And yes. And of course, he got a lot of flack for the vaccination stuff. And I'm not even going to go down that road because, but when you talked about him leaving, who is he as a human being? Who is he to you, Clapton? How would you describe him?
Well, he's not really in my life. He was, he transited my life at one point. And it was, we had some fun and we had some laughs and we played together and traveled together and stuff. But then he sort of disappeared, so he's not someone I could pick the phone up and say, how are you?
When's the last time you talked to him?
Oh, must be years ago. Mm-hmm. Probably 40 years ago, maybe.
How do you end up in France?
Well, it's a long story.
It always is when you end up in France.
Well, my wife and I were in London, and we spoke to a few people, and they said, "Oh, you'd love to live in." Yeah, we knew some people that had houses in France, and they suggested, "Oh, we can you hear me? Okay?"
Yeah.
Suggested. We'd love it in Provence. So we just happened to go down. I had a show actually to do down in Nice. And we had a look around Provence and we loved it. So we thought, let's come and live here.
You're doing it right, man.
Yeah. Unfortunately, my wife's no longer with me. She passed away.
I'm sorry.
A couple of years ago. So I'm wondering what I'm doing, but it's still very nice. It's lovely today.
Having done what you've done, and how do you feel now looking back? Do you feel like you can, if you want, the Yardbirds are not over, right? You want to go back out with them, right?
Still play, yeah. We still play occasionally.
Why do you play? I'm just curious. Everyone has their reason, because I'm 62. I know I'm younger than you, but there's a part of me that I like doing what I do. Why do you keep doing it?
Well, that's a good answer, really. What you said, it's what I do, what I enjoy, and if I can still do it health-wise, why not? And the songs are great. The repertoire is so good to play. Are very powerful, and people love it. They enjoy it.
I interviewed Steve Gadd a few years ago, and he was telling me about the same as you, the military background. Playing those.
Yeah.
And he said to him, that's what gave him an edge. He says, for whatever reason, whenever I get lost, or he said I'd go back to those original rudiments or whatever it was. What about you?
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, you can hear that in some of my, my drumming. Suddenly hear a bit of military going on.
Did your parents get it, what you were doing?
Not really, no. My father died fairly early. He quite liked the idea of me playing, but I didn't have a great relationship with him. And my mum and dad didn't really get on very well. And my mother was always very keen about me getting a job, a steady having a steady job with a future.
Well, I like the quote you had said that you came up to your boss and said, well, I'm going to go join this band, but I might come back. His reaction was pretty good, though, right?
Yes, it was very sweet, you know. They didn't look down on me and say, what the hell are you doing? You know, he was very nice.
When things started picking up, though, I mean, by the time Jeff had joined the band, I mean, all of a sudden things are picking up really fast. What was the reaction with your family but mostly your friends? Were they going, holy snapping turtles, this is taking off here? What were they telling you?
Yeah, my mum was funny because she was very dubious at first, and we'd argue a lot, you know, about things, about playing in the band, and then as soon as I was on TV, she said, "Oh, he's on TV, you know. I'm going to tell the neighbours." And and lots of people, some people were excited, and some people were jealous. You know, that's the way it is. Some people couldn't understand it.
You know, it's interesting now. Artists that wouldn't have told me that when they were younger, maybe in their 40s, when I first got into radio, when some artists that I talked to full circle, when they were young, they wouldn't say that. But now that they're old and they're comfortable in their skin, they go, oh, I had friends that somehow didn't. I thought, well, you know, are you proud of me? I mean, this is pretty cool, but you didn't ask that because reputation is someone else's business. You let other people decide. You can't help it. But some people had said to me, so, well, when I was in my 40s, I wouldn't say that, but I had some friends. They were jealous. They did some some people can't be happy for other people. It's just human nature.
Yeah, I know. It's very odd. Some people were very strange about it, you know. And people I knew were very, what's the word? They were very, almost embarrassed. They were embarrassed to sort of be there, you know, to talk to me.
We'll have another part of our second interview with original Yardbirds drummer. He's still with the Yardbirds. Jim McCarty, of course, there was Eric Clapton that went through that band. Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page. What the? There'll also be links to everything that is Jim McCarty, how you can listen to his brand new single, the book She Walks in Beauty, which is about his dearly departed wife, Lizzie, and a lot more. If you want to make a donation to the channel, there are links at the very top for PayPal. You can join our Patreon, get early access. There are exclusive content from this interview, which only Patreon members can see. It will never see the light of day on YouTube, only on Patreon. Or you can join our regular Patreon, get early access to all our videos. Subscribe to our channel. It's important. Like our videos, share them, and comment on them as well. I'm John Beaudin. This is Rock History Music. Take care.